podcast.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something I think, pretty much every English learner runs into. That moment, you're talking and a word you definitely know, just poof, gone.
Oh, absolutely. That tip of the tongue feeling. It's universal, really.
Right. So we've looked into why this happens and, more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Yeah, the practical side is key.
So our mission here is to get into why these words disappear, what's happening in the brain, look at some real examples.
And share some solid strategies to help things flow better.
Exactly, because understanding the why really helps you make progress faster, I think.
Totally agree. And look, it happens to native speakers too, let's be clear.
It's true.
But for learners, there's that extra pressure, that desire to be fluent and accurate. It makes the frustration, bigger.
Yeah, definitely amplifies it.
But the research we looked at really emphasizes this is normal. It's part of learning. And knowing the reasons helps you get a handle on it.
Okay, so let's dig into those reasons. Why do we forget words mid-sentence? The first one seems pretty obvious, actually. Nerves.
Performance pressure, yeah.
Like talking to strangers, maybe a job interview in English.
Or even just ordering coffee sometimes.
Right, that stress kicks in.
It does. It triggers that whole fight or flight response. And when that happens, your brain basically says, okay, complex stuff like finding the perfect word, not the priority right now.
Survival first.
Exactly. Memory retrieval kind of takes a back seat. So a word you know perfectly well when you're calm, suddenly it's just inaccessible.
It's like the language part of the brain gets temporarily downgraded.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Okay, what's next? The research mentioned something called low word activation. What's that about?
Right, this is super important. It's the difference between knowing a word passively, like recognizing it when you read, and being able to actively use it when you speak. That's productive vocabulary.
So receptive versus productive.
Precisely. If you mainly read and listen, you build a big receptive vocabulary, which is great. But if you don't practice actually saying the words, using them in sentences.
They stay kind of locked away.
Sort of, yeah. They remain in passive storage. So when you need to grab them quickly in a conversation, it's difficult. They aren't activated for speaking.
So just knowing isn't doing.
Exactly. Passive knowledge is an active ability when it comes to speaking.
And that habit some learners have, translating everything in their head, that doesn't help either, does it?
Oh, definitely not. That adds a whole extra mental step.
Right.
Instead of going straight to the English word or idea, you're thinking it in your native language first, then searching for the English equivalent.
Which takes time.
Loads of time and mental energy. And in that gap, the word can just slip away, especially in a fast conversation.
Okay, so it creates delays and opportunities for forgetting. Which really highlights another point that speaking itself is a separate skill.
Absolutely critical point.
You can ace grammar tests, read difficult articles.
Yeah.
But that doesn't automatically mean you can chat fluently.
It's like learning, say, to play the piano. You can read music theory all day.
But you need to actually touch the keys.
Exactly. You need to practice the physical act, build the muscle memory. Speaking needs that active practice too, coordinating your brain, your mouth.
It's complex. Which leads to another reason the research mentioned, multitasking.
Yeah, the sheer cognitive load when you speak, it's immense.
You're not just searching for one word, you're doing everything at once.
Pretty much. Think about it. Choosing grammar, picking vocabulary, building the sentence structure, controlling pronunciation, and trying to understand the other person.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
It really is. So if you get overloaded in any one of those areas, it can easily impact your ability to find the words you need. Something has to give.
And finally, just being tired or stressed in general, that affects it too.
Absolutely. Your overall state matters. Fatigue, worry, distraction, they all impair your brain's overall function.
Including finding words.
Including accessing your vocabulary when you need it. Your brain just isn't working at peak efficiency.
Okay, so those are the main culprits. Makes a lot of sense. Now, the practical stuff. What can you do in the moment when a word vanishes? Let's take that cafe example.
Yeah.
You want coffee? No sugar, but sugar is gone.
Right. The key here is don't freeze. Keep communicating. Use alternatives. Simpler words like no sweet, please.
Okay, or describe it.
Yeah, without the white sweet thing, it might sound a bit basic, but it works.
And nonverbal stuff helps too, I guess.
Totally. Point, shake your head, smile. The goal is getting your meaning across, not perfect English every time.
Right, communication first. What about meeting someone new? You want to ask about their job, but job or work? blank.
Same principle. Rephrase. Use what you do know. What do you do every day? Or maybe, where do you go for working?
A bit less elegant, maybe, but understandable.
Exactly. It keeps the conversation going. It shows resourcefulness.
Okay. And in a more formal setting, like a presentation, and you forget a key word, say goal.
Quick substitution is your friend there.
So instead of goal,
you could say the thing we want to achieve or our main target.
Okay. So you just pivot quickly.
Yep. Keep the flow. Don't panic about the one missing word. It shows you can think on your feet.
It's actually comforting to know even pros forget words sometimes.
Oh, constantly. Actors, news anchors, teachers, they all do it.
But the difference is how they react.
That's the crucial part. They don't panic. They stay calm.
And they have strategies.
Yes. They're masters of substitution, like we just talked about. Or they use a natural pause.
Like just a slight hesitation.
Exactly. Gives them a second to think or rephrase. And they use body language effectively to keep the audience engaged.
So the aim isn't to never forget, but to manage it well.
Precisely. Develop coping mechanisms, just like the pros do.
Okay, that's helpful for the moment. What about long-term improvement? How do we get better at retrieving words?
Yeah.
The research had some solid tips. First one, speak every day, even alone.
Yes. It might feel weird at first, talking to yourself.
A little bit.
But it's incredibly powerful. Describe what you're doing, your plans, narrate things around you.
Out loud.
Out loud. You're training your mouth and brain to produce English. It strengthens those neural connections.
Makes retrieval faster later on.
Much faster and more automatic.
Okay. Another technique mentioned was shadowing. What's that involve?
Shadowing is great. You listen to short clips of native speakers, audio or video, and you immediately repeat exactly what they say. Try to copy the rhythm, the intonation, the pauses, everything.
Like being their echo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps build automaticity, improves pronunciation, gets you used to the natural flow of English, and you pick up vocabulary in context.
It sounds like training your mouth for English.
That's a perfect way to think about it.
Cool. The research also pushed learning phases, not just single words. Why is that better?
Think about chunks of language. Your brain finds it easier to grab a whole phrase like, "Can I have some sugar, please?" than to build it word by word.
Because those words often go together.
Right. They become like a single unit in your memory. Much quicker access when speaking.
So learn phrases related to situations you expect to be in.
Definitely. Very practical.
And this next one seems huge for breaking that translation habit. Practice thinking in English.
Game changer. Seriously.
How do you start doing that? It sounds hard.
It takes conscious effort at first. When you see something like a red car, try to think. A red car is driving fast, directly in English. Don't think it in your language first and then translate.
Bypass the middleman.
Exactly. It'll feel slow initially, maybe clunky, but stick with it.
It gets faster.
Over time, yes. It builds that direct link between concepts and English words, speeding up your thinking and speaking.
Okay. And alongside all this practice, it's important to, well, cut yourself some slack.
Absolutely crucial. Be kind to yourself, accept imperfection.
It's part of learning.
Totally normal. And if you do forget a word, don't clam up. Paraphrase.
Use simpler words you know, like your thing for holding water instead of bottle.
Exactly. The goal is communication. People will understand your effort. Don't let one forgotten word stop you.
What about managing nerves right before speaking? Any quick tips?
Simple relaxation techniques can really help. Deep breaths. Consciously relax your shoulders.
Okay.
Even just smiling can help trick your brain into feeling calmer. And some positive self-talk.
Like?
Telling yourself, I can do this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm ready. It reduces anxiety, which helps memory.
Good advice. Lastly, the idea of a speaking diary. What's that?
It's basically recording yourself speaking English regularly, just for a minute or two each day.
On any topic.
Any topic at all. Then you listen back later.
What do you gain from that?
Huge insights. You spot where you hesitate, maybe words you often forget. But crucially, you also hear your progress over time.
So it's motivating too.
Very motivating to actually hear yourself improving.
Great. Now, just a few bonus tips to sound maybe a bit more natural. First one is using filler words. Really?
Yes, really. But naturally. Things like,
Native speakers use them all the time.
They do. It buys you a split second to think without an awkward silence. Just don't overdo it.
Right. Moderation and body language. How important is that?
Hugely important. Smiling, gestures, showing enthusiasm. It makes you seem more confident.
And helps understanding.
Definitely. Even if you stumble on a word, your positive body language keeps the connection and can help convey meaning.
Makes sense. What about storytelling?
Practicing telling short, personal stories is fantastic.
Why?
It forces you to link ideas, use vocabulary naturally, maintain flow. It's great practice for spontaneous, connected speech.
And finally, visualization. Mentally rehearsing.
Yeah, especially before a situation you're nervous about. Picture yourself speaking confidently, fluently.
Like a mental warm-up.
Exactly. It can genuinely boost your confidence and performance when the real moment comes.
Wow, okay. So bringing this all together, the main thing is forgetting words is normal. It happens.
Totally normal part of the journey. Don't beat yourself up about it.
The key things seem to be speak daily, even if it's just talking to the walls.
Build that habit.
Practice thinking directly in English. Try to ditch the translation step.
Big one. Takes effort, but pays off.
And just relax, be patient, trust the process.
Absolutely. And trust yourself. You're learning, you're growing.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners. What's something they can take away and try immediately?
Well, think about how different things could feel if you just picked one of these strategies. Maybe shadowing, maybe thinking in English for 5 minutes a day, maybe just allowing yourself to paraphrase next time you get stuck.
Just try one thing.
Yeah. See how it shifts things. Those moments of frustration, they can actually become chances to get creative, to build confidence. So maybe just ask yourself, which idea here feels most doable, most helpful for me right now? And give it a go in your next English conversation.
Great advice. See what works for you.